Hey everybody, and welcome back to Planet Build. This is the splash at Shipwreck Cove. Now this will be my submission for the splash challenge that Frontier has announced a couple of days ago. And before that, I wanted to actually make another attraction which I had in mind. I wanted to create an attraction like something like the Tiki Room in the Enchanted Tiki Room in Walt Disney World. But when they announced the Splash Challenge to actually upload a blueprint at the workshop before Thursday, December 5th, I thought, okay, let's go ahead and do this one and see what I can achieve. So I'm excited to show you guys this build. This is actually the first time I build a flume in Planet Coaster 2. So therefore I'm excited to show you guys this, but also it has a big secret hiding in one of those caves, but that will be something I'm going to show you guys later in this video. And I'm also excited because this is actually the first blueprint I'm uploading under 4,000 pieces. Now the rest of the attractions that I built, or the parks that I built, were above the 4,000 pieces, so I had to upload it as a park, and this one I can upload as a blueprint, so you can use it in your park as well. Now let's just get right into it and show you guys what I built. Then we're going to ride the flume, and then afterwards I'm going to show you guys the big splash that is actually in this attraction, and also refers to the big splash challenge that Frontier announced. So you got a nice cave over here with some waterfalls, a small beach over here, and I did add it in some pathwork and some planters, and a changing room over here. Otherwise, I think when you build a attraction, it is nice to have some scenery around it, just to upgrade the view and make it look good from all angles when you're filming it. So we got the flume over here. Let's just go ahead and ride the flume. And the park is still closed, but let's see. So you got the queue over here, and then you got the stairs, which actually brings you up to this area. And I wanted this area to be, it's called Shipwreck Cove. So there are a lot of shipwrecks in here, and I can show you guys that from this angle. So there's some theming around this flume also, but this is the back side, so it's not heavily themed as the front side. But there are some shipwrecks over here, and the uphill lift also has some scenery with some shipwrecks in it. Now the only one small thing with this flume, and I think it's a bug, is that you can adjust the speed of the lift, but I don't think it slows down when you actually slow it down in operations menu, so it still goes up at one speed. Therefore I had to put in this little thing over here, otherwise it would just travel way too hard up the hill. So I did broke it down halfway and then put in a simple normal tube. So let's just go ahead and ride it. There we go. And you got a nice relaxing flume where you travel through the caves. You see some waterfalls before actually going down this one over here, which is the big splash. So it's not that long, it's quite short, and I think it's a nice flume. Let's just exit this one. So that is our flume in this case, and I like the way it travels around the rocks and just goes underneath over here. with this small structure, and then actually goes inside a cave to see a waterfall and the backside of the other waterfall, and a small little waterfall over here. So, and I especially like the gap in between this section over here. I think it gives a little bit of depth to this section over here. So now for the big splash, because Frontier said, okay, we want a splash element in here, and you're not seeing it quite yet, and I got the idea of actually bringing in a floating ship, which I tested a lot of things with the moving platforms, and I also made a video about how to use the moving platforms in a different way than you're probably used to. So I tried to create a flying ship, and I'm going to demonstrate that one right now. So let's put this one on test again. And then at a certain point where the flume will, or the raft will actually travel around this big hill, there's a surprise coming out of the waterfall over here. And that will be my submission for the big splash. And there you have it. So this is an animatronic I created, and it was quite a hard one because it travels from the top side of this waterfall downstairs, has a big splash, and then goes back on the bottom section of this waterfall, but also resets itself again to the second level of the waterfall, so that when the next flume or the next raft will come over onto this section, each time it travels past this point, past the trigger, it goes up and it goes down. So you get the loop in this one. Now this one was quite hard, and as I said, I did another video before this one to actually show you guys what you can do with all the moving platforms. Now to showcase this one, I'm going to show you guys what was needed for the boat that is actually coming out of this section, and that's included, let's see how many, you got 63 triggers in this one to actually make a animatronic like this. And let's just go ahead and see again what it does. It goes all the way down, it makes a big splash. Splash is not working right now because the splash is triggered at the raft, but it makes a big splash and then goes back inside the cave, and then inside the cave it turns back to the front side, and then it goes up into the second level of the waterfall. Now be sure to check out the video I posted earlier, because that gives you somewhat basics about how to use those moving platforms. But for this one, I just want to say that I used the horizontal moving platform, the vertical one, which I called or renamed it to the drop platforms, and I got three rotational platforms in it. So you have to test it out a little bit. It took me about 2 to 3 hours to actually achieve this thing that I wanted. So you got the horizontal lines, and what's important for this one is that each horizontal line you're adding at the same start time, that creates the length of the way your object is moving. And then those one over here, line 5 till line 8, starts at 5 seconds, because when you put it on slow pause, the pause moment is at 5 seconds. So when you then start the next 4 lines, it holds your object at the at the breakpoint where the moving platform just pauses. Now, for each line that you add at the same time, that depends the length of your object traveling, and for each line that you put in further, so each group of lines that you put in further each 5 seconds, that depends how long your object will stay in this place. So in this case I put in 2 groups of 4 lines, and that actually says that it's here for about 10 seconds, because you get the first 5 seconds and they get the second 5 seconds, and after 5 seconds it travels back to where it came from. So you get 2 times 5 seconds is 10 seconds. Now the drop, same thing for the drop. At least I think I put in, let's say about, yeah, I got in 10 drop elements, and that is because the drop element is on fast, no, it's on slow up to down, but the length of the animation in the drop or the vertical moving platform is much less than it is in the horizontal platform. So this one is let's say 2 seconds. So each 2 seconds you can add a new one, and that is the way to keep it up in the air. So as you can see here, I got group 1, 2, 3, 4 starting, and even 5 starting at the same time, and that depends the height of your object dropping. So for example, if I would just add in drop 1 and drop 2, it will drop less than when I add drop 1 till 5. So with 5 meaning that just drops way far more down than when I add 1 or 2 drops. Now drops 6 until 10 just mean that the moment, and this counts the same as, this is the same as for the horizontal lines. You've got a breakpoint for the horizontal line, that one is on 5 seconds, but for the slow up to down vertical moving platform, that is on 2 seconds. So when you would add the next drop element at 4 seconds, because this one starts at 2 seconds, it puts your it holds your object in the way it was. And if you continue on doing that, you can hold it in a place for much longer. So that's the same as the horizontal lines. Each group of lines depends the length, and in the case of the vertical moving platform, each group of vertical platforms depends the height of your object falling or dropping down or taking flight in the air. And each extra group that you add, that depends the length of your object actually staying in that position that you want. Now, there's only just one thing I added also, which is the turn, and you can only use, you only have to use 3 turns in this one, and the breakpoint for the turns is, let's see, I thought it was 3.3 seconds if you put it on half oscillate slow, and that gives you a small breakpoint where it turns around, and then you add in the second or the third one at 3.3 seconds, and then you can keep it in that position. And then eventually you got an animation where a ship goes out of a cave, turns around, it holds in place, then the motors start running, and then it goes back inside the cave. So there you have it for my splash challenge submission for the Frontier Challenge. I will upload this one to the workshop, so hopefully you guys can create something amazing with it, or maybe add some pools and some other flumes to it. But I think this gives you a nice base of a swim park for your guests to enjoy. So thank you for watching, and be sure to check out the tutorial that I made. I'm going to put that one in the end screen, because that also gives you an idea of how to use those moving platforms, and actually says the same as I did over here with this animatronical. And instead, this one was a little bit harder than the things I'm showing you guys in the tutorial. But for now, thank you, and I hope to see you guys very soon. Bye bye.